Crystal Faulkner with the CPA and Business Advisory firm of Cooney, Faulkner and Stevens. We're here today with Lee Stautberg. Lee's an estate planning partner at the law firm of Dinsmore. And Lee, you know, the tax deadline is on Tuesday. A lot of people are scrambling to put the finishing touches on their returns, but it's also a problem when people make a mistake. It could hold up the refund. Let's talk about that.
That's right. Not only does it hold up your refund, but you also probably have to answer some paperwork from the IRS. And no one likes to get a letter that says IRS in their mailbox. It's terrifying. Some things you can do, it's just like being in school, Crystal. Remember when we were told, check your work. Tax returns are simple. They're fairly simple. You have to add, subtract, and multiply. Make sure that's right. Look for the Social Security numbers. Do you have the right numbers for your children and your spouse?
And also if dependents too, you have to make sure the dependent Social Security numbers are correct, and so that not more than one person is claiming that same dependent. And you know, with the onset of so much fraud, that's becoming more of an issue.
Right. The IRS does have a matching program, and you can only claim that dependent once.
Yeah. That's right. So in addition to some of these common mistakes, there still are a few things that people can do and really should think about doing before the deadline on Tuesday.
Right. We have until April 17th this year to file our tax returns unless you extend. But until April 17th, you can still make IRA contributions, which will reduce your taxable income if you're eligible. And Crystal, I think you do some planning for business owners too.
I do. You know, one of my favorite deductions, Lee, is the type of deduction where you can put money in a retirement plan for yourself and take a tax break. And so certainly if you do have a business, think about whether or not you can establish a simplified employee pension plan, a step. You can do that until the due date of your return, including extensions. And speaking of extensions, I think a lot of people are confused. It's an extension of time to file, not an extension of time to pay.
That's right. You have to pay on time. The IRS does require current payments. Yeah.
They sure do. And we're going to continue our conversation with Lee Stautberg, talking about many other tax issues and some of the things you should think about doing in 2012 to reduce your tax bill next year. We're going to continue that conversation on WCPO.com.
Thank you.
So Lee, let's talk about 2012, because 2011 tax time is pretty much come and gone. Tuesday, as you mentioned earlier, is the filing deadline for 2011 returns unless you extend. But in my mind, and what we've been advising our clients, is this is a perfect time to start planning for 2012 to reduce your tax burden next year.
It certainly is, and there are things that you could be doing. For instance, keeping track of your charitable contributions. What I have in my home is I have an envelope, and whenever I get that thank you note when I make a charitable contribution, which is my support for that deduction, I put it in that envelope. So at the end of the year, I've just got my envelope and I have all my information current. There are many things that you can do, and I'm sure your firm counsels people all year about what they could do to save taxes.
And what we're telling our clients is that we don't think tax rates are going to get any lower. So to the extent you can do a projection, actually prepare a projection for 2012, and then think about your income for 2013 and 2014 even. Look into the future a bit and see what types of decisions, what kind of action you might be thinking about this year when we have 15% capital gains rates yet. We've got, and this is your area, we've got some really wonderful opportunities for wealth shifting. So it really does make a lot of sense in my mind, Lee, to really take the time. You know, it's so interesting. So many people plan a family budget. They plan their business finances and strategy, but yet they don't take the time to take a look at their tax situation.
Right, and also their estate planning situation. People never like to plan to die, and we all know we're going to die.
Right,
you know,
unfortunately, that is a fact of life.
We haven't found a way around it. Here now in 2012 until December 31, 2012, we have the opportunity to do a lot of wealth shifting. If you have a closely held business, if you have any type of illiquid investment that you would want to transfer to the next generation, now's a great time to do some gifting. In 2012, we have a little over $5 million as a lifetime gift tax exemption that you can use to shift wealth gift tax free. We don't know what's going to happen in 2013. Unless Congress acts, that's going to drop to $1 million. So that now is really a great time to do some wealth shifting.
And you know, Lee, I always love to tell our clients if there's a way to actually do some estate planning but get some current income tax breaks, it's just a win-win. And so as you mentioned, if you have family limited liability companies, partnerships, things like that, where you can shift current your tax burden and save estate tax, it's a great situation.
And it's especially great if you can shift it to a lower generation that has a lower tax bracket. That's a win-win-win.
And future appreciation will then be outside of your estate.
Definitely.
It just makes a lot of sense. So if somebody, again, no one wants to think about dying, but what is the best way to start estate planning?
Yeah, I always think about it as take an hour, hour and a half, and think about what you would like to do with your assets. Who do you want to share them with after you're gone? And after you've done that, don't wait too long. Contact your attorney. I found that my clients, once they start paying for the advice, they finish the plan. And your attorney will provide you with guidance, show you what options are out there for you, and help you craft the best estate plan for you.
And if you haven't taken a look at your will in the past several years, so many things have changed and will continue to change. What would you recommend there?
There are so many things that change either by the law or in your family. For instance, the guardians that you named for your children when they were 2 may not be the right guardian when they're 16. Your parents' age, and that you might choose another guardian for those children. With respect to the tax laws, they are quite a bit different, and even the revised code has changed. So it's really good. What I suggest for people is that they look at their estate plan anytime there's a major event, sale of business, illness, death, and also every 5 years, just to see, am I still on track? You also want to look at it, especially this year in 2012, look at your planning, see if it's still appropriate. On January 1, 2013, the Ohio estate tax has been repealed. A lot of that planning that was done earlier may not be applicable if there's not an Ohio estate tax.
Well, the key is, I think, really seeking outside guidance, because again, this isn't anything that you want to take for granted. It's certainly something that you need to plan for. And you know, it's also very fascinating to me as well, Lee, in that it's very difficult, I think, for people our age, for example, who have older parents. That conversation with your parent, if your parent is not taking action, how do you recommend to your clients that they initiate those conversations with their older family members?
You know, what I would say is, Mom and Dad, I need your help. I need your help because I need to know what you want to do, and can you help me? Give me that guidance. And really, an estate plan is a gift to your children. It's a gift to your spouse. It allows them to know what you would like to have done. Often with the estate plan, we also advise people with respect to their health care directives. A living will, a health care power of attorney, really is a great comfort to your children and your surviving spouse, that they know what your end-of-life wishes, what you wanted for your end of life.
Well, Lee, thank you so much for that great information and for being my guest.
Thank you very much. Thanks.